What's up, everybody? This is Sir Charles Barley from Rock Knowledge 33, about to break down an article from thesportster.com. Darnell Jones, 15 trades to shake up this NBA offseason. Watched a similar video breakdown on this. I just thought it lacked some of the brutal honesty that some of these trades, who cares? All right, so I'm going to break these down one by one, starting number 15. We got Serge Ibaka to the Rockets. This is one of my definitely who cares. Serge Ibaka, in my opinion, one of the most overrated players in the NBA. Had a lot of potential back with OKC back in the day. Rebounds, block shots, turned into soft 3-and-D guy, 7-8 boards. This is a guy that should be hitting the glass, 10 boards a game, concentrated on block shots, clogging the lane. But over time, he's just fallen off. I feel like he camps out to the three-point line. Rockets, this does not put them over the top. Rockets should be focusing their efforts on LeBron James, Paul George. They need that extra piece in order to compete with the Golden State Warriors. So Serge Ibaka, sure, if they can make the trade for Ryan Anderson, get rid of a little bit of money. If they can't sign one of the big names, I do think that makes them a little bit better, but still just keeps them number 2 behind Golden State. Damian Lillard to the Cavs. Obviously, if you're a Cavs fan, this would be a dream scenario, land Damian Lillard. However, they have no assets to acquire Damian Lillard. What are they going to trade? They're going to trade Kevin Love? Nope, no thank you. They got the number 8 pick, upcoming draft. Again, a player Damian Lillard's quality. Kevin Love and that number 1 pick is still not enough in my opinion. I think that if you're a Cavs fan, obviously you'd be drooling over this. Portland fan, you'd be boycotting games. There's absolutely no way that this trade makes any sense for the Portland Trail Blazers. DeAndre Jordan to the Wizards. Now this one I could kind of get on board with. I think the Wizards would obviously benefit from having DeAndre Jordan in the middle, John Wall, Bradley Beal. But again, it does not put them over the top in the East. I think that you're looking at 76ers, Celtics as the teams to beat in the East next year. Thinking LeBron James ends out somewhere in Houston or Lakerland. So this trade actually potentially makes a little bit of sense. It depends on what the Clippers could get back. Maybe an Otto Porter. That wouldn't be a bad haul for them. I think it would make both the Wizards better, and it would make the Clippers younger, which they probably need to think about because they're stuck in the middle, no man's land right now. Probably will just miss the playoffs again next year. Gives them a middle-of-the-road pick. So Clippers either need to get a lot better and land a huge name, or they need to get worse so they can get a better draft pick. And so DeAndre Jordan might be one of their only assets to be able to do something like that. Ryan Anderson to the Raptors. Who cares? Ryan Anderson was not very good this year. This is a move that for the Raptors, maybe he could do well with a DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, but he's a 3-point shooter. Little rebounds, not much defense. I think, Ryan Anderson's got to be considered a bench player on a good team maybe, or if you're starting him at the 4, you probably can consider your chances of competing for a legitimate shot at an NBA title not very good. Raptors, in my opinion, are missing that one piece, so if they can't land it, Ryan Anderson, not a great answer. They need to either find a way to snag somebody big, get rid of some money, try to sign a DeMarcus Cousins, something like that. I still just don't think they have the cap space or the ability to do anything. So in my opinion, Raptors are pretty close to having to blow it up, and they might have to think about unloading DeRozan, get some assets for him, get some assets for Kyle Lowry before these guys, lose their value. Kevin Love to the Blazers. So again, if you're a Cavs fan, I'd be praying this happened. Absolutely. Get Kevin Love out of town. He's soft, injury prone. If this is Kevin Love from the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think the Blazers would be all about it. CJ McCollum for Kevin Love, that wouldn't be a bad deal if you're looking at that type of Kevin Love. But this type of Kevin Love, getting closer to 30, he's been a secondary player on the team with LeBron James, and he disappears at times. I think Kevin Love to the Blazers makes the Blazers worse. Again, if you're the Cavs, you're absolutely wanting this to happen, to get Kevin Love out of town. If you could land a CJ McCollum, then you get younger and you get a legitimate 20-point scorer at the 2 guard. And then if you hit on this year's draft pick, potentially you got a couple of building blocks right there. But Kevin Love to the Blazers, I think makes no sense for the Blazers. I don't see this happening. Bradley Beal to the Clippers. Yeah, again, Clippers fans, yes, cross your fingers, hope this happens. No way in hell. Bradley Beal is an up-and-coming, young shooting guard, superstar potential, perennial all-star over the next several years. So if you're the Wizards, no way. Wizards are one of those teams that just are one piece away from really, being a 2-3 seed in the East. If they could land one more guy to go along with John Wall, Bradley Beal, then these guys legitimately can give a team like the Celtics, a team like the Sixers, a run for their money in the playoffs. But shipping Bradley Beal out of town makes no sense right now whatsoever, in my opinion. I'm going to be throwing up a video later, and it's going to be Bradley Beal, Victor Oladipo, 2 young guards. Which one's better? Who's got more upside? So stay tuned for that video. It'll be coming up pretty soon, okay? Number 9, Jaylen Brown to the Bulls. I do not like this. I am a Celtics fan, so slightly biased, but I think Jaylen Brown's upside, clearly with his chemistry with Jason Tatum, is a must-stay for the Celtics. You do not trade Jaylen Brown unless you're landing a superstar, and even then, with the Celtics' money they got tied up in Al Horford, Gordon Hayward, upcoming need to re-sign Kyrie Irving. I think you need to keep a player like Jaylen Brown on this roster. He's still on his rookie contract. Trading him right now, I don't think makes a lot of sense. This leads into the next one, which is Jaylen Brown. Probably the scenario would be to trade him for Lauri Markkanen. I don't think Lauri Markkanen has the kind of upside that Jaylen Brown has. If I'm a Bulls fan, I would probably be all about this. But as a Celtics fan, watching Jaylen Brown improve over this last year, his ability to shoot the 3, his athleticism, his smarts on the floor. He's a gym rat. I think he gets better and better. I do think Lauri Markkanen is a great building piece for the Bulls as well. So I just don't see this trade making much sense for either team. I think you got players that are 1-2 years into their careers. Why are you going and trading them? So I think you got to see what you have with both guys. So Bulls, if I'm the Bulls, I'm keeping Lauri Markkanen, re-signing the kid from Minnesota, Zach LaVine, and hoping to hit on this year's draft pick, get another young player, because you've got a couple other young players like a Bobby Portis that can give you some decent minutes. Chris Dunn improved a lot this year, so with that core, you kind of hope going forward. Some of the mock drafts I've seen have them picking Trae Young. You get Trae Young in the backcourt with LaVine, Chris Dunn. You got some defense, you got some offense, and then you got to have a 4 down low. You got to have a Lauri Markkanen, a guy that's hit 3 and 3-point shooter, can get some boards, has continued upside. So if I'm the Bulls, I'm hanging on to Lauri Markkanen right now. Josh Jackson to the Nuggets. Again, this guy is 1 year into the NBA. What is this trade all about? You got to hang on to him. He showed a lot of growth, I think, towards the end of the season this year. His scoring numbers went up. He's got huge potential as a defensive stopper. He's long. He's athletic. Again, he's rumored to be he's a gym rat. He's a guy who wants to get better. I think you have to hang on to Josh Jackson. The Nuggets, this would be a good haul depending on what they need to give up. But that leads us to the next one, which would probably be Jamal Murray, somehow flipping him for Josh Jackson. Again, two young guys that have showed potential in their current environments. I don't see why either team would want to make this deal. Jamal Murray had a good season, demonstrated some improvement through the year. He's a good shooter, demonstrated some ability to play the point. You got him and Gary Harris. Again, you're developing some chemistry there. Why break it up to bring in this guy? I'm not sure what the point of that would be. So, in my opinion, both teams should stay pat. Obviously, both players would probably be successful on the other teams, but at this point, it doesn't make any sense. Reggie Jackson to the Magic. How did this even get on the list? What is Reggie Jackson going to help the Magic do? Get worse? Yeah, that's probably good for them so they can get a better draft pick, but you're not going to get anything for him. So Detroit really has nothing to gain with this trade. I don't think they let Reggie Jackson play out his contract, walk away. Who cares? If I'm Detroit, hopefully again you get some improvement out of Luke Kennard. You get some improvement out of some of your younger guys to go along with Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond. Reggie Jackson can be serviceable for you, but this guy's not the answer for Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic need to hit on this year's draft pick. Think about re-signing Aaron Gordon. So also maybe think about trading some of their assets. You got a Vucevic in the middle. He's a good rebounder. He can score 15 points a game. I'd be looking to deal him sometime this year, try to get even a mid-first round pick. He's not somebody who's going to put your franchise over the top. He's something that you could use to gain some assets going forward. For the Magic, that's what they need. They need to get young, talented players because they're not going to be signing any superstars. They just don't have a good enough team. And Reggie Jackson doesn't make them any better, and it doesn't draw free agents. Hassan Whiteside to the Denver Nuggets. So this will go along with the next one. Again, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. You got Jokic already there, who's demonstrated he's got huge potential. He is getting 7-8 assists at the center position, 10 boards, probably would be a 20-point scorer to go along with Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, both players getting better. You got Paul Millsap, who I'm assuming this trade would be for. Hassan Whiteside, Paul Millsap. Again, you got a center in Hassan Whiteside who has shown a questionable motor at times. Why are you trading Paul Millsap, who gives maximum effort? You got him on not crazy money for the next couple of years. He's a good influence on your young, rising players. That's going to be a pretty decent team. I think the Denver Nuggets make the playoffs this year. 7 or 8 seed. Their young players are getting better, and hopefully with the Gary Harris improving and the Jamal Murray, that's something, a Jokic, those guys continue to get better. Maybe you can lure a free agent in at some point in the upcoming years to go along with those guys to make them even better than they are. But Hassan Whiteside is not the answer. I think we touched on that. Paul Millsap to Miami. If you're Miami, yeah, maybe that again puts you at a 7 or 8 seed, but it makes you old. Maybe you do this trade for the sheer chance that you could then again flip Paul Millsap come trade deadline to get younger, get some draft picks maybe. But this does not, I don't see this happening unless, the Miami GM is smarter than everybody else. I just don't see the ability to get rid of a Hassan Whiteside and land a player like Paul Millsap. Kawhi Leonard to the Sixers. Again, Sixers fans, theoretically, this would be amazing, but all the word is that he wants to go to the LA, either Clippers, Lakerland, so he's probably not going to re-sign with you. If you could get him, you get him to re-sign, him to go along with Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid would be perfect. Kawhi Leonard's still young, incredible defensive player, improving offensive player all the time. He can shoot the three, can defend every position. He's the type of player you need around those two guys. But again, with the risk to trade for Kawhi for Philly, you probably have to give up some assets that are probably going to be players that are getting better, and you're getting a rental. And a rental is not worth the one-year gamble, because I still don't think you have a chance, even with Kawhi, to beat Golden State, and you probably don't get out of the East past the Celtics if they're healthy. If the Celtics aren't healthy, if they lose a Kyrie or a Gordon Hayward again in the playoffs, and LeBron James is out west, yeah, I think Philly could make the finals. Ben Simmons still got to develop an outside shot. I don't see that happening in 1 year to the next. Ben Simmons is an incredible player, but he's just not there yet. This move for a 1-year deal wouldn't make sense. Long term, absolutely. Number one, that would be Markelle Fultz to the Spurs. Again, obviously, if you're Philadelphia, if you could get Kawhi and you could get him to stay, you give up Markelle Fultz, and you'll probably have to give up Dario Saric, as well as other players to make the money work. So if that could happen, if I'm a Sixer fan, I'd do it, because you have a big three right there: Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Kawhi Leonard. That is a hell of a threesome right there. But I just don't see it happening. Markelle Fultz, geez, what a rough rookie year, and I don't see Greg Popovich wanting to go all in on a player that showed that little for a number one overall pick. He showed he probably has some holes in his mental game, couldn't get past, fix his jump shot. So Markelle Fultz, who I think is going to be a good player, I can see him turn it around. If I'm Philadelphia, I would do this trade, but if I'm the Spurs, I think you can get a better haul for Kawhi Leonard, or people who have proved more. If I'm the Spurs, I'm really considering trying to get the Celtics. If I could get Jaylen Brown from them, I would. If I'm out of luck with that, you have to turn to the Lakers. I think the Lakers will give you draft picks. I think you could get Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball. I know they don't, who wants to deal with LeVar Ball at this point, but there's no question Lonzo has a lot of potential. And if I'm the Spurs and you're going to lose Kawhi, why let him walk away? At the end of the year, you have to find some assets for him. The Spurs are in a sticky situation right now. They got a player who's a superstar who doesn't want to be there. If the Spurs are one player away too. If they could add a LeBron James or Paul George to go along with Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge, they're a great team. But right now, Kawhi wants out, so they need to think about getting younger, getting young talent, maybe some draft picks. And if I'm the Spurs, you got to have some self-realization. This is not going to be a rebuilding season for them where they can compete for a title. If I'm the Spurs, I'm holding on to LaMarcus Aldridge, and I'm trying to get whatever I can for him at the trade deadline, trading him for draft picks, trading him to get better, get younger, because the Spurs are, I think, just a couple steps away from having to completely rebuild their team. And if they could get a couple of young players like an Ingram, Alonzo, or Kyle Kuzma, they're doing a lot right there off the bat. And then whatever you could get for LaMarcus Aldridge. So let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe. I'm going to bring some more videos talking about upsides of players, who they compare to going forward as pros. I'm going to break down Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. I'm going to talk about some of the comparisons of similar players to each other. We'll go, who's better, Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz long term? Who's better, Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons long term, Joel Embiid, DeAndre Ayton? How do they compare? So please subscribe. Going to be more videos weekly, daily, breaking down brutal truth. This is Rock Knowledge. Peace out.